Okay, welcome back. We are still looking at YSS Paper. Now, if you can refer to extracts 2 and extracts 3, first things first, what I'm going to do is to unpack it, and then after that, I will sort of guide you through how to answer this question. Okay, and then you are going to continue in your SLS. Now, if you look at extracts 2, okay, and extracts 3, always remember that extracts 2 and 3 are things that you can sort of look at the textbook or refer to the textbook when you're doing this paper. But in N level, both extracts 2 and extracts 3 are what we call content, which means that you would have prior knowledge. But in N level, even if, let's say, for example, you're stuck at extracts 2 and 3, remember that this question is an 8 marks question. Okay, you try to answer to your best ability. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Of course, this is, if you look very carefully, it is living in a globalized world, so it is a topic from globalization. Okay, now if you look at this, extracts 2, it is about free trade agreement. Okay, free trade agreement under the ASEAN free trade area. Singapore's network of FTAs has expanded to cover 18 regional and bilateral FTAs with 24 trading partners. Now, what is all this? Okay, first things first, you must remember that FTAs are actually what we call treaties, or what we call negotiations between countries. Okay, and they trade as well as exchange goods. Okay, so if you look very carefully, Singapore has covered 18 regional. So regional here, it could mean the ASEAN region, it could mean with European Union. So region means a few countries, a few bigger countries, in fact, that wants to trade with Singapore, or Singapore wants to trade with them. Okay, bilateral is treaties or negotiations with individual countries. Okay, I'm writing in short form. Okay, and you look, they have 24 trading partners. Now, why does Singapore want to do all this? Because of our small country, okay, in terms of our size, it also limited what we can do, and hence it is very important to have good trading partners. Okay, all right, like for example in this COVID-19 situation, a lot of our food supplies actually come from everywhere in the world. And because it is everywhere in the world, literally, we could still continue to survive. Okay? Alright, so just remember, free trade agreement is actually treaties and negotiation between countries. Okay, and you trade and exchange goods. Of course, when you do free trade agreement, there are certain what we call benefits or certain perks. Okay, which means that maybe when they bring in their products, other countries bring in their products, right? Singapore maybe do not tax them or give them very good rebates or something like that. Okay, so that they are attracted to be our partner. Okay, now coming back to the next one, I will erase this. Now, at the time, I'm just going to erase this. When Singapore was a little more than a barren Southeast Asian island, the US was amongst the first country to invest. So here we're looking at how United States, okay, was the first country to invest in our manufacturing industries, okay, which is quite true. Okay, USA has always been a very good trading partner to us. Okay, and since then, USA has emerged as Singapore's largest source of foreign direct investment. So FDI here means investment. So any countries that wants to invest in Singapore, the term that we used is FDI, foreign direct investment. Okay, and if you look very carefully, Singapore has a lot of foreign direct investment, but USA accounts for 20% of it, so that's quite a lot. Alright, now let's go to the question. Okay, the question is pretty simple if you look at it. Extracts 2 and 3 are about the relevance of free trade agreement and foreign direct investment. Now, the main thing about this question is how have all this helped Singapore's economy to succeed? So the key word here is how have they allowed Singapore to succeed? Okay, so when we talk about succeed economically, what does that mean? Okay, it means that number one, when you have FTAs and when you have FDIs, right? FTAs and FDIs, how has it helped our economy to succeed? So first things first that you need to do is define economy success for Singapore. And Singapore's economy is successful when you see what? When you see growth, when you see actually more jobs, when you actually see more trading, when you also see stability, right? So these are things that define economy success. So in your paragraph, your link, whatever you say about FTAs and whatever that you say about FDIs must actually talk about economic success for Singapore. Okay, so an example would be, okay, first you must define what is FTAs. So this is the what. You must give me some examples of FTAs. This is the how. And you must explain how with FTAs Singapore's economy is successful. Okay, so this is paragraph 1. Alright, and then in paragraph 2, you need to define what is FDI. You need to give me some examples of FDI. This is the how, this is the what, and you need to explain to me, explain to the markers actually, explain how FDI has made Singapore's economy successful. Okay, so this is how the process will be. Alright, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and then that's it. What if, let's say, in the N level, you forget, you don't know what is FDA, or you don't know what is actually FDIs? So one of the things that you can do is to try to look back at the extracts and think about it. Okay, because it is going to be a waste if you're going to not do it at all. Alright, because even if you were to level 1 to 2 marks is just answering the question. Okay, 2 out of 8 marks just for answering question, just for repeating the question or something like that. Okay, level 2, okay, which is 3 to 5 marks, 3 to 5 marks. So you try to imagine if you could get 5 out of 8 marks, which is the maximum, for just actually describing. You just describe what is FDI, describe what is FTAs. Just look back at the extracts and describe. Okay, you will only get level 3, which is 6 to 7 for one factor. That means you explain very well FDI, and explain here, it means what? It means you must have this, you must have this, okay, and 7 to 8 for 2 factors. That means you explain what is FTAs. So even if you cannot remember what is FDI and FTAs, at least we aim for this part, which is the description. Okay, or if you can remember, look, one factor, a good one factor, 7 to 8 marks. So if it's about time management, and you realize that you may not have enough time to write 2 factors, I think one good and well explained factor is important. This is provided, of course, you understand and you know the content of the question. But if, let's say, you really don't understand the content of the question, our aim is at least to get the 5 to 8 marks. Okay? Alright? So what you do later on in your lesson, I will give you the instructions online. Alright? So remember, if you don't have the content right now, it's okay to look at the textbook. I will give you the link at the textbook later on. Okay? Alright. Thank you, class. See you.